All right, these are the tools that you need to use in order to clean a large Clean and Clear Plus filter. I usually have a pair of channel locks, rubber mallet, and then a 7/8 socket wrench, and then a rag just to clean the filter O-ring and the filter tank. I'm going to be cleaning this filter right over here. In order to turn this pump off, I need to walk over to my automation. And right here, you can zoom in, you'll see that the system is in auto right now. So what I have to do is I have to hit this button right here, mode, put it into service, and then from there the pump will turn off. Go walk over here. On this pump, you're going to see, if you can zoom in here, you can see that it says display not active. Not sure if you can see that or not. So in just a minute here, what's going to happen is this pump is going to be released from this automation. So sometimes I've seen where people have schedules on this and this pump would turn on during this process. So you just want to make sure that this pump does not have its orange light on here. Let's say this is a standalone pump and you do not have automation. You just want to hit the stop button and the pump will not turn back on during that process. I'm going to grab my tools real quick. So again, I just want to use this wrench here. And I'm going to open this clamp up by just turning this direction. Okay. Stop it. I like to release the air too. Stop it. And I almost have this off. I'm going to hold on to that clamp. I don't want it to fall onto the plumbing on the other side. And let me make sure I hold on to all these pieces here. This clamp, hold on to it, pull it off here, put it off to the side. I initially released the air right here. You can hear it coming out. This pressure depressurizes the system. So now the lid, I should be able to release it. That's what our filters look like inside. You want to make sure you pay attention to how all this is set up in here. This manifold is down. This spring just basically holds that manifold down onto these cartridges here. This manifold then can be released. Put off to the side. And then these cartridges will then come out. And then I'm not sure if you saw it, but this is the internal air bleed screen. That's going to go just right back onto that. Now we're going to take these filters over here and we're going to clean them up. You could have a basic garden hose. There's a couple other nozzles I'll show you at the end of this video that will work really well too. So here I really like it makes the job really simple. And then I'm just going to go ahead and clean all four of these here. So just stop it. I want to go ahead and drain this filter out. There's a drain plug down here, if you could zoom in, right down here. A lot of times you got to take channel locks to loosen it, which I already did. I'm just going to loosen this here. This way I can get every single thing out of the filter. These filters are pretty clean. A lot of times there's a lot of sand and sediment at the bottom of these. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this out now. While I'm cleaning this out, I always like to clean the lid O-ring really good, top of this air bleed really good. You can look inside the filter, nice and clean now. And then I clean around this tank really good as well. And it makes sure the O-ring is really clean. A lot of times I'll take a rag, because maybe another person used a lot of lubricant on this. I like to use pretty much no lubricant. If the O-ring starts to break down, you would know, because this rag would start turning black. This is a relatively new one. Then I will actually take the rag and go around here just in case there's anything that I got. The main reason why these filters leak is just a little bit of sand or dirt, sediment in there. Then I put the O-ring back on before I put the filters on, because it is just a lot easier to do it without the filters in. I just kind of ease it on there. And that is it right there, the O-ring. I'm going to go ahead and put that drain plug back in. A little hard because you can't see it. Don't really care for the design that much, but it does make sense because you're able to remove a lot of debris out of here, or all of the debris out every time, because this is the lowest point on this filter. I will tighten it occasionally with a channel lock just a little bit. Now from there, I'm going to go ahead and put these filters back in. Move these over. If you look down in there, you're just going to make sure that these cylinders are sitting right on top of that bottom manifold. Pretty straightforward. They just sit right in there. Then I take my manifold, my top here, put that on. These line right up. If these are loose in any way up here, then there's an issue with your cartridges. So you try to make sure these are not loose. Put them in like that. Then we'll put the lid on. I always like to close the air relief first, because that way I know where my pressure gauge is going to go. Maybe I want it going out that direction so the user could see it, and then also my water is going to be released this way here. Then I'll open it back up, so that way when I start it up, I'll be able to purge all that air in the system. This is where people struggle the most usually, is putting this clamp back on. What I do is I like to have all this in my hand, ready to go. Take this clamp, and you're just going to hold on one end just like that. And if you look right here, I now have this together with one hand. I'm taking in the bolts and everything. Screw it back on like this. Just make sure you hold that nice and tight until that spring is, that bolt is tightened in here pretty good, so you don't lose it. I'm good there. A wrench. Go ahead and tighten it back down now. A lot of times I'll turn this if I can, so that way it's easier for me to get in here. Not thinking of something. Let me grab my rubber mallet real quick here. I have this ready to go. And I can tighten it down. Tap it, makes it a little bit easier to tighten this clamp down. Your goal is to get this spring to touch. It has directions on the clamp itself as well. We're not trying to over tighten. but it will leak if you under tighten. What we're looking for right there, approximately. If you have a standalone pump, then all you're going to simply do over here on the pump, just turn on whatever speed you want to turn on. In this case, I'm going to just turn on this one here, and I'm going to hit start. That will turn my pump on. Water will spray out right here. That is normal. And just wait for all the air to be purged out. Let's turn that off. Now you're good to go. I like to grab a rag then. Go around the side of the filter and make sure there's no leaks. I did spray a bunch of water everywhere. It's normal. I can do this just to make sure there's no leaks. It's good there. Now, let's say I had automation. I could go ahead and leave that pump on manually like I did here. That's totally fine. But now I'm going to go back over to my automation here. Right here where it says service, all I'm going to do is click through, timeout, back to auto. It's going to go back onto its regular schedule, whatever that may be, low speed, high speed, and that's it.